Welcome in everybody to Facebook Live. Gary Harris from the Gary Harris Show on Tide 102.9 and Ryan Fowler from the Game on Tide 102.9 SEC football media.
You're better dressed than I am.
Well, that's never not the case. I mean, that would be newsworthy if you were ever dressed better than me. So since you're not ever dressed better than me, I don't even know why you brought it up.
I just wanted to compliment
you. Thanks for pointing it out. But SEC football media days are out for Monday. You're raring to go, I can tell. Already a lot of fun. Auburn's on the docket this morning. Heard from SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. Just your early impressions of what we're seeing.
Well, I don't think it was a lot coming out of Greg Sankey. I mean, I think it was more of a poem than it was a speech. But I think a couple of things that he mentioned. Obviously, the news that's on a lot of our minds at Dallas, Baton Rouge, Minnesota. He made a comment to those and gave his feelings towards those. But I think the one thing, you look at conduct, that seems to be at least an early 30-minute conversation when we talk about conduct and a universal conduct policy. I don't know if it's ever going to get any traction. I've heard the ADs and coaches are not going to give that flexibility to the SEC, but we've already learned at Auburn the players that were arrested for marijuana, those 4 players are not going to miss any playing time. Gus made that announcement just a few minutes ago. So really the first 30-35 minutes, I guess if you want to say stealing the show, it's conduct that seems to be the center of the conversation.
And of course on Wednesday, Nick Saban's going to have to address what might happen with Cam Robinson and Louis Jones. Speaking of conduct issues, as you said, Malzahn's already said none of those guys are going to miss any playing time. I'm sure Saban won't wait for the question. I'm sure he'll walk into each room and go ahead and say what the update is on those guys. Probably saying that we're going to handle it internally. But what do you expect to happen with Cam Robinson and Louis Jones? They were, after all, cleared. The charges were dropped.
I don't think they're going to miss any playing time. I'll be shocked if they do. I think when you cannot get them in a court of law, now that doesn't mean there's not going to be discipline there or punishment, whatever word you want to use. I think Nick Saban will still hand out some punishment. But yes, you're right. He'll have to answer that. And, as you and I talked about this one on your show, the Bo Davis comment has not come up
at all.
Nobody's asked about it.
You're right.
In the media availability down in Destin, 16-minute press conference, no one asked about Bo Davis. It will be asked about here, and Nick Saban, I know, is going to try to deflect attention. He'll come out with some kind of strong nugget or some kind of direction of conversation. But I think when you look at it, Bo Davis will be a topic of conversation. Cam Robinson, Louis Jones, those two. But I expect him to play. I don't think they're going to miss any playing time unless Nick Saban wants to come out and send a strong message. Do you really need him? I think is the big question against USC.
We're going to give Ben George a break here in a minute. He's holding up that phone. It might get a little heavy. But this afternoon, our buddy Jim McElwain from Florida. And I don't know that there's a better guy as far as just sitting down and just kind of having a conversation with reporters. He doesn't come across as polished, but he doesn't come across as hokey either. He's just really down to earth. And McElwain seems to be one of those guys, and we'll find out this afternoon, that he'll just tell you what's on his mind. Not a lot of coach speak with Jim McElwain.
No, he's a straight shooter, and you got to love Mac. I mean, whether his days in Tuscaloosa or what you're talking about days in Florida, I think they're also slipping under the radar right now because, coming off of their SEC championship appearance, the hype is around Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, they don't have quarterbacks either, right? In Florida, they don't have quarterback.
Well,
you're going to slip under the radar when you don't have quarterback.
Well, but now Luke Del Rio, I think he can get the job done.
Maybe he can, but he hasn't yet. How many schools? This was his 8th school now?
But, I mean, he took a quarterback last year that couldn't throw beyond, 10 or 15 yards and got him to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if he's able to do that this year. I like Mac, and I'm biased, but I will not be shocked if Florida's in Atlanta for the SEC championship. But, hey, one more quick reminder as we're on Facebook Live and you're listening. I'm going to give you a big question here. Comment on the comment section below. For one, like us there at Tide 102.9, but comment on the comment section of where you are watching this from. Always get a lot of great reactions from all over the country.
So you're so far ahead of me on this social media and all this Facebook.
We're going to catch you up. I mean,
and you know what? I am dressed better than Fowler, but I will never, ever have a better beard. Of course, I'll probably never have a beard, but if I do, it won't be as good as yours.
Well, I gotta go get back to hanging back out with Gus. Him and I were talking.
You were.
You brought me over.
Ben interrupted you.
And said, come on over here for the Facebook Live. So Gus
Fowler was having a nice one-on-one conversation with Gus Malzahn.
So I got to go back to get to that. Gus, I'll be over there in a minute. Just hold up. I'm teaching him a couple things about playbook. We're talking offense. So I'm going to get back over there. I appreciate you inviting me on this conversation. I'll see you guys at 2 p.m.
We're Facebook Living. That's the latest from right here at the 2016 SEC Football Media Days, Winfrey Hotel in Hoover. Stay tuned for more.